Oh, you feel like he could destroy you with the snap of his fingers.
Wouldn't even need to snap. Okay.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, what?
I want to let you all know that there will be no spoilers in this video. There will be a video to come with spoilers. Just wait. We'll dissect the movie. I just got back from seeing Renfield, and I am very excited to speak about this one because I ended up actually enjoying it more than I thought I would. Before we get into any portion of the movie, I just want to go ahead and speak about Nicolas Cage as Dracula himself. What a phenomenal casting decision, might I say. Nick Cage as Dracula? Yes, please sign me up. I need more films of Dracula with Nick Cage playing this character. It just felt so iconic. Everything felt so right. Like he just slipped on an old pair of shoes and they still fit. Like it worked. Everything he did in the role of Dracula, it made sense. Every motivation, it was so much fun. And just, he really made Dracula, this really boring stick in the mud of a character, into this hilarious, just iconic figure that I wanted to continuously follow. And then I also was rooting for him at some points. I mean, mentally speaking, I'm like, no, Renfield is definitely in the right here. I wanted to overlook those issues. And I'm like, oh my gosh, am I throughout this movie in an abusive relationship with Nick Cage as Dracula? And I just, my mind just blew up while watching this movie. And I had a lot of fun with this character. So I just want to say Nick Cage did a fantastic job. For anyone who was worrying that he would overdo it, I think he hit the nail on the head with this one. Just spot on. I was very underwhelmed by the trailers, but this movie really fleshes out all the tones from the trailers and adds upon it. And with the movie as short as it is, I thought the writing would be a little bit undercooked, a little heavy-handed, if you will. However, the movie actually is very smartly written. Little hints and snippets of character development leading in a certain direction. To much surprise, the writing was absolutely stellar. The character motivations, the plot, it all just kind of melted together, and I felt at home with this movie. But not only that, it was the set design, the lighting, and then the actors who brought these characters to life. They all just really amplify the movie and make the movie its own thing. Renfield feels like this unique rendition of an old classic while also being its own thing by building upon that, but also having a focus elsewhere in the storyline. It's the plot of being a victim in an abusive relationship. And Renfield, this movie, it tackles a lot of the issues that you see in these certain situations. Being an adult, yes, I've had my fair share of some not so great relationships, and I could absolutely identify with the character of Renfield, what he was going through, what he was thinking, and seeing this character grow, become a little bit more fleshed out in this very silly, stylized universe. I was just on board. I would like to go back to the set design and the lighting and all of that because those made the movie tonally feel like its own thing, and I was genuinely surprised. I don't think I've really felt like that since watching possibly like Batman Beyond. Yeah, it felt like they were on sets, but they were so unique and cool and overly stylized. But it was to the point of it being not cheesy like in Batman Beyond, but something a little bit more just unique. A lot of the camera work in this movie feels a little half-baked, but there were some shots in the movie that really do stick out and make the movie look great. And then there's some shots in this movie where it's like, was that even color graded? It just felt like a GoPro was put onto somebody and boom, that's the shot. It just felt like we had to put these scenes in there because we didn't have the time to make those camera shots better. There were no extra shoot days. We just have to roll with the punches and there we go, which is not something I personally would expect out of a movie to this caliber with the finances behind it, with, you know, the talent enforcing the film. But this movie, it's not about visual style. It really does lean heavily onto set design and lighting for that. It's all about characters and their motivations and telling the simple story of a victim in an abusive relationship trying to attempt to escape said relationship and find hope in this universe, while this person, it's also like they're in the moral gray area. So it's like, can we feel totally bad for them? And by about through the midpoint of the movie, that answer does become abundantly clear. My standout character for this movie, surprisingly enough, there's lots of surprises in this movie. Aquafina, I thought that she was going to be more annoying than anything else. Her character getting in the way of Renfield, not in terms of acting, but in terms of just the character and how her character was written. Renfield learning off of Rebecca and vice versa. I thought that was a really interesting kinship that they had going on between those two characters. One of my concerns early on into the film was that of Rebecca's one-note personality. She wanted to be the hero, the symbol of peace, if you will, and everything just led back to that. It felt like she would die to be on that pedestal. However, there's a character choice at the end of the film where you kind of question like, okay, this character is actually being smart about a certain situation. And it was that moment out of many moments, will you, that secured me as an audience member with her character to actually make her feel like, okay, this is someone who could actually exist in our world. Not to mention the spectacular comedic timing that Aquafina brings with the character of Rebecca. I could have been super annoyed by that, but I wasn't. And that's where I believe the casting department did such a good job with this choice as well. Not just Nick Cage, but there's a lot of great casting decisions throughout this movie to where if any of these characters were played by anyone else, that character probably would have been knocked down a few pegs. Now, walking out of this movie, I did have one gripe, and that has to do with some of the consequences that some of these characters have to endure, or I guess in this sense, lack thereof. And I just really felt like the tonal shift at the end was really brought down a few pegs. Like there's this great message at the end of the movie, but it doesn't hit you as hard because the movie decides to backtrack on a few decisions that they make earlier throughout the film. The movie does leave you with an emotional, heartwarming message, especially for those who can step into the shoes of Renfield. Because while this is a comedy movie, it does touch note of people in these horrific situations, and it gives them a light at the end of the tunnel that yes, there are ways to escape it, and you just have to believe in yourself. Yes, I understand it sounds like a lot of make-believe, but yes, those feelings ring true in a lot of these situations, and they empower a lot of people, not only myself, but probably most likely the rest of the world. That's going to go ahead and do it for my review of Renfield. Again, we will be doing a spoiler discussion video soon to come, so be on the lookout for whenever that video drops. As well, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like down below. Also, if you guys want to leave a comment, all the engagement helps out tremendously. We also have lots of other movie reviews. We're trying to get the watch time going up. Also, if you guys are new here, be sure to subscribe. We talk movies every single week. Well, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for my movie review of Renfield. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys also enjoy it. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.
Dracula.
Okay, obviously we're dealing with a little bit more than just narcissism here.
Now, let's eat.